Today on the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement.
We are going to discuss why retirement today requires a different mindset than it did 10 or even 20 years ago.
And on our Coaches Corner, we're going to help educate you on the most widely used vehicles for retirement today, annuities.
And on our Chalk Talk segment today, we're going to dive deeper into annuities and explain some pros and cons of having one in your portfolio.
So sit back, relax, and learn. The Chad Slagle Show starts now.
I'm Chad Slagle. I believe financial planning is about educating people and empowering them to make better decisions with their hard-earned dollars. Coaching gives me satisfaction from watching a player succeed and get better. You need an experienced team around you. The best coaches have great assistant coaches. I have brought a lot of the techniques and structure I learned from playing and coaching football and apply them to the world of investing. My goal now is to coach as many individuals and families as I can on how to get successfully to and through retirement.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. I'm Wendy Erickson here with the coach, Chad Slagle. Today on the Clipboard segment, we're going to discuss why retirement today requires a different mindset than it did 10 or 20 years ago.
That's right, Wendy. You know, when I started out in this business, I would sit across the table from a client and treat them as I would my own grandparents, because my grandparents, of course, at that time were also at the age of retirement. Fast forward 10 years later, it was my parents that I would look across the table and see. And now, after 25 years of being in this business, my relatability has shifted to myself. I now look across the table and see my wife and I in our clients' shoes. Our oldest son, of course, is heading off to college, and our other three children are not far behind them. My wife and I have slowly begun the conversation of what we will do in retirement. And this has made me think about how important planning for the lifestyle that you want to have in retirement is. Not just financial security. You know, for the last 18 years, our lives have revolved around our children. It's been the absolute best adventure of our lives. However, now we must think about what comes next. And no matter what the next step is, we have to make sure that we have an income stream coming in to support it. And when a paycheck is not coming in. And that is the biggest concern of pre-retirees and most of you who are retired today, is making sure that you have an income stream coming in for the rest of your life. So what we want to talk about today is a piece of the retirement puzzle that will help you accomplish this, and that is annuities.
Well, I think everyone out there would agree with us that time flies faster than you can even imagine.
Yes, it does.
And I'm actually way ahead of you because I've entered the new phase where I have no kids at home anymore. And my husband and I are staring at each other as empty nesters. And we are having those talks about retirement. It is closer than we can believe. And then the panic sets in. And we're like, okay, we're going to need some income. We have these great plans. We talk about the fun things, the traveling and the future grandchildren that we get to spoil, but then you're like, wait a minute, now we're going to have to figure out how to pay for that, so that we better make sure that we have our game on when it comes to saving for retirement, because it's close.
Absolutely. And when we talk about, you know, where's that paycheck going to come from when you're not working, and that's probably one of the scariest things for, you know, we start working at 20, 30 years of age, we always have that paycheck coming in. So you mean when I retire today, we can still have a paycheck coming in, but I don't have to go to work? And that's probably one of the scariest things. And that's why we want to talk about annuities today and how to determine if one may or may not be right for you, and help you figure out, is that the missing piece to your puzzle so you can have a happy, healthy, fun lifestyle that you want in retirement.
Well, and I know this relates to a lot of people who are watching today. They're even maybe further along in the process and anxious to hear what you have to say. So we've got that information for you. When we return on the Coach's Corner, we are going to help educate you on the most widely used vehicles for retirement today, annuities. We'll be right back.
The number one concern of retirees today is outliving their hard-earned dollars. It is more important now than ever to educate and empower yourself to make better decisions with your money that it has taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate. How do you do this? By using our Financial GPS, our guided planning system. This is a 4-step process to help get you successfully to and through retirement. The first step in this process is to create clarity. Here we will help identify your goals as well as your concerns and identify what you want to accomplish in retirement.
The second step, we will analyze the risk you're taking with your current portfolio, and this step will also identify exactly what you are paying in fees. In the third step, we will evaluate and assess your current plan and help identify the gap between the missing pieces. And in the fourth and final step, this is where we will work together to implement a plan of action to accomplish your retirement goals. And this process can take place at any one of our convenient locations in Missouri and in Illinois. So call now to get set up on that right path on your journey through retirement.
Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We are back with the coach, Chad Slagle. And today on the Coach's Corner, we're going to help educate you on the most widely used vehicles for retirement today, annuities, and discuss the different types of annuities there are available. There's more than one.
There is more than one. And retirement isn't what it used to be. Today, not only are people working, traveling, and living dynamic lives well past the previous generation's retirement age of 65, but saving for retirement today requires a different mindset than your parents may have had in the past. Many people had pensions which would guarantee fixed income for life. Today, people are living longer, healthier lives, and it's likely you may spend a third of your life in retirement. This is why it is so important for those of you who are retired or close to retirement to ask the question, how can I or how can we guarantee a lifetime income no matter how long we live? In the past, bonds served as the sole answer to this question for many people and many financial advisors, functioning as a de-risking vehicle that could help guard retirement against market fluctuations. However, relying solely on bonds may leave a portfolio vulnerable due to today's historically low interest rates. And that's where annuities come in, according to Roger Ibbotson, professor of finance at Yale University, who has researched annuities as part of the modern retirement portfolio. An annuity is an insurance contract that can help grow and protect your retirement savings. And there's a wide range of annuity options, each of which comes with unique features and benefits, making the landscape confusing. So what we want to do today is simplify those as much as possible for those of you sitting at home.
I know times have changed. My grandfather he had a pension from the telephone company, and he always used to talk about bonds. But you're going to offer some options, and we're going to talk about these annuities as an alternative.
Yeah, with interest rates where they are now, they were going up. Now they've went back down. So bonds are a tool, but they're not the tool that's going to fix all of your problems like they were in the past.
All right. Well, like you just said, times have changed, so we need to change our thought process when it comes to this. So the different types of annuities. Let's talk about the first one.
The first kind of an annuity is kind of like when you retire, if you're lucky enough to have a pension, is basically an immediate annuity. Immediate annuities are annuity contracts purchased with a single lump sum. You lose control over your deposit through something called annuitization, but payments start almost immediately, and they guarantee an income stream you cannot outlive. Similar, again, like I said, to a pension. Once you retire, you receive a monthly income stream for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. And hopefully, if you set it up properly, like your grandfather probably did, if he were to pass away, it goes to your grandmother for the rest of her life.
Yeah, that's how it went. So immediate annuity. All right, what's the other type of annuity?
The other kind of an annuity would be what's called a fixed annuity. And fixed annuities operate much like a CD, but without the FDIC insurance and with higher penalties. On the plus side, you will receive a fixed rate of interest for a fixed period of time, typically at a higher rate of return and accompanied by withdrawal and death benefit provisions. Now, they are backed by the financial strength of the insurance carrier. Therefore, you want to make sure you're working with a carrier or a company that highly ranked through a rating agency. And a lot of people say, well, how can I tell if I have a good one? Really, when it's just like your grades in school. If you had A's, you did good. B's, C's, not so good. So you want to make sure that you definitely have an A-rated company. But again, a little different than CDs as far as the FDIC, but pays usually a lot higher interest. But the key is they're fixed. In other words, your principal is safe. You cannot lose it.
A little bit like a CD.
A little bit.
Yeah, okay. All right, so what is the difference between a fixed annuity and a fixed indexed annuity?
Well, with fixed indexed annuities, they blend safety of principal with returns tied to some type of external market index. You know, they have more upside potential than just a regular fixed annuity without the downside risk of a variable annuity or other vehicles tied to the stock market. So like a fixed annuity, your money is safe where you cannot lose it, but you have more upside potential. And they track indexes like the S&P 500 index or some different indexes that are out there that basically when you put the money in is your starting date, and at the 1 year anniversary would be your end date. So let's say it's January 1st to January 1st or March 1st to March 1st. That's how they're able to do that. The other thing with a lot of these fixed index annuities, you can also create an income for life with what's called a lifetime income benefit rider, which, as we've talked about today, with pensions going away, that is a huge benefit with the annuities.
All right, so fixed annuity, a little bit of safety plus a little bit of growth potential. So
Correct.
I like the sound of that. But there is another type of annuity we're going to talk about.
There's variable annuities, and a lot of the negative things that you hear about annuities usually comes from this area of variable annuities. They offer the full growth potential of the market, but also the full downside potential. And these annuities may be accompanied by some type of rider that guarantees a lifetime income called a GMIB, a guaranteed minimum income benefit rider, or a GMDB, guaranteed minimum death benefit rider. For the benefit of the insured. However, variable annuities can be one of the most expensive vehicles out there today. When we talk about annuities, usually on average, you're paying anywhere from 3 to 4% a year in fees. So you have to weigh the options. Is it worth paying those fees to have your money sitting in that annuity?
All right, you've given us a lot to think about when it comes to annuities, good and the bad. It's different for everyone.
It is different for everyone, that's right.
All right, well, some information for you, in addition to download our free white paper today about the ABCs of fixed indexed annuities. Visit slagelfinancial.com/empoweryou. Coming up on Chalk Talk, we're going to dive deeper into annuities and discuss some of the pros and cons of having one in your portfolio. Stay with us.
Let's go.
He's such an involved dad. He's always telling the kids stories. I remember when so-and-so said I couldn't do this or I didn't make this team. That's what drives him. In our family, we always tell our kids to stick up for each other, stand behind one another. He feels it's his role to provide, keep us safe, and to make sure that the kids are taken care of. A lot of Chad's clients have the same traditional values, and he bonds with them. Each family has a different set of circumstances, and each family is unique and different. The common thread between all of Chad's clients is that they want the best for their family, just as he would our own family.
Welcome back into the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. So we just went over the different types of annuities that are available. Now let's dive a little deeper into annuities and discuss some of the pros and cons of having one in your portfolio.
In your early career, you're saving, building capital, and managing risk. But as you near retirement, it makes sense to begin to actively de-risk your portfolio, which is what we talk about every week on this show. And as I mentioned earlier, according to Roger Ibbotson, professor of finance at Yale University, people ages 50 to 75 could be an appropriate age bracket to consider annuities, and particularly fixed indexed annuities. Prior to 50, it makes sense to invest primarily in stocks and mutual funds due to their growth potential, as you have time on your side to ride out the ups and downs of the market. However, when you retire, you no longer have time on your side. And with most retirees today, you have to start drawing income from those investments. While annuities play a valuable and critical role in individual retirement planning, they are not right for everyone. And you, not some salesperson, should be the one to decide if an annuity is right for you.
Well, we need to go over the annuities in terms of some of the pros and some of the cons to help our viewers out there understand them a little bit better. It's confusing. It
is. There's a lot of pros and a lot of cons. And again, it's not a one-size-fits-all. And I think the other thing that is important for people to understand, Wendy, is an annuity is like a mutual fund or an exchange-traded fund or a stock. It's a product, but it's not a cure-all for for retirement planning or really for growth planning before you retire, and that's what we want to talk about today. So we talk about the first thing that when we talk about the pros and the cons. One pro would be long-term average accumulation rate is currently better than that of other conservative financial vehicles such as CD. And the whole key here is what we're talking about is you want to make sure your principal's safe. So if there's a 10, 20 to 30% correction in the market, with your annuity, your money's safe. You cannot lose the principal. Anytime you make that gain, it locks in, it becomes your new principal. The con is, though, you may not have as much growth potential as you would say in the stock market. The stock market goes up 10, 20%, you only may make 5 or 6% in that annuity. But the key is, though, it's safe. So again, there are pros and cons, unless, of course, you're investing in a variable annuity. And as we talked about earlier with the variable annuities, you can have the growth potential, but you're also going to have to pay a lot higher fees for those accounts as well. So it's a little give and take.
All right, what about your money being tied up in annuities? I've heard that being an issue, some drawbacks for people.
Absolutely right, and this is something that you have to take into consideration when it comes to your money. One of the biggest benefits of an annuity is the guarantee of income that, if you set up properly, will last the rest of your life, no matter how long you live and no matter how long your spouse lives, which is the biggest concern of what we find with retirees today. But understand, with these guarantees, there are stipulations. With most annuities, you set a contract period of anywhere from 3 to maybe even 10 years, and most contracts will allow you to take your interest out after 30 days. So you can get that money out. And you can also take up to as much as 10% out a year without any penalties. But if you take your money out for no reason early, they will charge you a surrender charge, and those fees vary depending on the contracts and the riders your annuities carry. And a lot like a CD, once you put your money into an annuity, you will have less liquidity than you would if you invested in the stock market, such as a stock or a mutual fund. But understand, the reason you're putting your money into an annuity is not to draw it right back out. It's to be safe and to give you an income stream that you can never, ever outlive. In other words, it's like you're building your own family pension plan that's there for you, your spouse. But if something happens to both of you, unlike a regular pension, this money will be set to go to your children, your grandchildren, in the most tax-efficient manner as well.
So there are 3 places you can get an income.
Yeah, like we talked about last week, there's only 3 places that you can put your money, or 3 vehicles, or 3 ways that you can get an income stream that you can never outlive. Of course, the ones we all know of would be pensions, would be Social Security, and of course would be the annuities that will give you that income stream that you can never, ever outlive.
But as we said, annuities, all of this is confusing to people. So.
It is very confusing. And the thing is, there are options that you have out there when we talk about the pros and the cons. And to make sure you're getting an annuity that can help you best pursue your retirement goals and objectives, make sure that you're working with an independent advisor who is not limited to a certain product or offering, and understand why each product is being recommended. It is your money, not your advisor's, so you want to be sure that you make the right decision. The key is, though, Wendy, we talked about on this show many, many times, and I talk to clients about it all the time in our offices, is make sure that, number one, you have, in order to be successful, you want to make sure that you have a little bit of money in all 3 worlds. You want to make sure that you have some money in the banking world. You want to make sure that you have some money in the Wall Street world, and you want to make sure that you have some money in the insurance world. But also, you want to make sure that you have an advisor that works in all 3 worlds. If you have an advisor that only works in the insurance world, they're going to want to take all of your 401k, all of your retirement accounts, and they're going to put it all into annuity. And that's not the proper way to build a game plan for retirement. Just like it's not the proper way to take all of your money. When you retire, you can't afford a 10, 20% correction to take all of your money and put it into a variable annuity or put it into mutual funds or the stock market and hope that that money lasts throughout the rest of your life. And you really can't do that. If you have to have a guaranteed income stream that comes in each and every month for the rest of your life above and beyond your pensions and Social Securities, that money can't be sitting in the market. Why? Because number one, we have no idea if the market's going to go up or down. And number two, you have no idea how long you're going to live. So it may last the rest of your life, but it may not. And that's not the plan you want to have when you retire.
Because that whole unpredictability factor.
Absolutely right.
I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did.
I wish I did too. That's right.
Make
So the way you overcome that is
Yeah.
make sure that you have a plan.
That's right. A good one. All right. Well, once again, a reminder to download our free white paper today about the ABCs of fixed indexed annuities. Visit schlegelfinancial.com/empoweryou to get your hands on that. When we come back on our strategy play, the coach is going to show you how to take a holistic approach to your retirement plan.
The number one concern of retirees today is outliving their hard-earned dollars. It is more important now than ever to educate and empower yourself to make better decisions with your money that it has taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate. How do you do this? By using our financial GPS, our guided planning system. This is a 4-step process to help get you successfully to and through retirement. The first step in this process is to create clarity. Here we will help identify your goals as well as your concerns and identify what you want to accomplish in retirement. The second step, we will analyze the risk you're taking with your current portfolio, and this step will also identify exactly what you are paying in fees. In the third step, we will evaluate and assess your current plan and help identify the gap between the missing pieces. And in the fourth and final step, this is where we will work together to implement a plan of action to accomplish your retirement goals. And this process can take place at any one of our convenient locations in Missouri and in Illinois. So call now to get set up on that right path on your journey through retirement.
Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. On this week's strategy play, we're going to show you how to take a holistic approach to your retirement plan.
When we talk about a holistic approach, a common scenario that we find in our practice almost on a daily basis is someone who is, or a couple that is bringing in Social Security and maybe a small pension, but they have what's called a shortfall. So if we take a look here, let's say we have Bob and Mary, and Bob and Mary together at age 66 are going to be bringing in $5,000 a month. But they've sat down, put their budget together, and figured out the lifestyle that they want to live and to enjoy retirement. They're going to need $8,000 a month coming in. So they have $5,000, they need $8,000. So what that means, Wendy, that's going to give them a $3,000 a month shortfall. And so let's say they have $1 million. And what we have to do is, when it talks about as you get closer to retirement, we talked earlier about de-risking your portfolio. What you want to do is when you get closer to retirement is you have to take your money and you have to separate it into 2, if not 3 different buckets. That secure bucket, that growth bucket, and that dream bucket or that extra bucket. So what we want to talk about today are the 2 buckets that you see here is your secure bucket and your growth bucket. And you want to make sure that you put enough money in that secure bucket where, number one, it's safe. So if there's a 10, 20% correction in the market, you know that money will not lose a dime. Also, we have to make sure we have enough money sitting in that secure bucket so we have that $3,000 a month shortfall coming in each and every month for the rest of your life and the rest of your spouse's life. And it doesn't matter, again, what happens in the market or what happens with interest rates, you know that money is always going to come in. And then once you have that set up, that's there to support your lifestyle, so then the extra money can be sitting in the growth bucket. And of course, the money in the growth bucket is there to do exactly what it says. It's there to grow. It's there to keep up with the rate of inflation, the cost of living. It's there if the market goes down, we have some of that bucket set up in good, solid dividend-paying companies, so it's making 5 to 6% all the time if you did need to draw some income from that. But the key is, when the market's down, it's not a big deal. We can wait for the market to come back up and harvest some of those gains. But again, when it's down, we don't have to lock in those losses. So the goal here with this money, with this $3,000 a month shortfall is, number one, solve for income. Number 2, set a balanced approach. You do not want all of your money in any one basket or any one vehicle like we were talking about earlier. And number 3, make sure that you have preservation of principle. Hold on to what you have and make sure it lasts throughout the rest of your life. And as we talked about earlier, Wendy, annuities are a valuable tool intended to help you build a secure retirement plan. But before you buy or invest in an annuity, take the time to make sure that you understand what an annuity can and cannot do. And be sure it is a tool you need and can use. So if you're unsure if an annuity is right in your portfolio, we encourage you to give us a call today. And that's this week's Strategy Play.
Well, if you have any questions about today's show, or if you'd like for us to discuss a new topic, email us at askchad@slaglefinancial.com to have your questions answered on the show. We'll be right back with some of the key takeaways from today.
Your host and coach, Chad Slagle, and join
I'll be with you guys in just a few minutes.
When it comes to your health, your life, your family, your home, and your hard-earned dollars, of course you want to make sure you're working with that sharp, energetic, knowledgeable individual that is always looking out for your best interest.
Such short notice. Appreciate it. Thanks.
It's time to get your financial house in order. This is the new age of retirement planning.
In the Wall Street world, that's what they talk about. You got to have
Now back into the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We are Slagle Financial. Call now, 888-294-9248.
Welcome back one more time to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We have covered a lot today. What would you say are some of the key takeaways, Chad?
The key is educate yourself. Understand the different types of annuities that are out there today. Number two, of course, weigh the pros and cons when deciding if an annuity is right for you. And number three, and probably the biggest one, Wendy, is take a holistic approach to your retirement plan. You know, an annuity can make sense within a financial plan, but outside of that, it's just a product like a mutual fund, a stock, or an index fund. So it's about educating yourself and building that plan and really taking that holistic approach and understanding that all of these tools make up the game plan that you need. Not one tool or one product is going to fix everything.
All right, and to download our free white paper today about the ABCs of fixed index annuities, visit slaglefinancial.com/empoweryou. Well, Slagle Financial and their team of advisors have educational events, all kinds of them coming up in your area to make sure you are prepared for today's retirement. For more information and to sign up for one of these events, call 888-294-9248 or visit chadslagleshow.com.
Remember, folks, success is waking up in the morning, whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter how old or young you are, and bounding out of bed because there's something out there that you love to do, that you believe in, that you're good at, and you can hardly wait to get at it again today. At Slagle Financial, realize that this is bigger than our team. It's about educating you, the public, and our wonderful clients, and empowering you to make better decisions with your hard-earned dollars. For my co-host Wendy Erickson, this is the coach, Chad Slagle. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to visiting with each and every one of you next week. The number one concern of retirees today is outliving their hard-earned dollars. It is more important now than ever to educate and empower yourself to make better decisions with your monies that it has taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate. How do you do this? By using our Financial GPS, our guided planning system. This is a 4-step process to help get you successfully to and through retirement. The first step in this process is to create clarity. Here we will help identify your goals as well as your concerns and identify what you want to accomplish in retirement. The second step, we will analyze the risk you're taking with your current portfolio, and this step will also identify exactly what you are paying in fees. In the third step, we will evaluate and assess your current plan and help identify the gap between the missing pieces. And in the fourth and final step, this is where we will work together to implement a plan of action to accomplish your retirement goals. And this process can take place at any one of our convenient locations in Missouri and in Illinois. So call now to get set up on that right path on your journey through retirement.
Clothing for the Chad Slagle Show is provided by AL Custom Clothiers, a custom men's clothier that understands the value of offering our customers the best for less. ALCustomClothiers.com or 314-570-6000.